Hi, my name is David. I'm in Tainan, and this is Taiwan in English. In today's exciting episode, we're going to be talking about some words that have meanings and usages that can be confusing. We'll start with context. You may have heard of the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, and why. All of these are part of context, and how much of an effect each one of them have changes depending on context. Take the sentence, "My tummy hurts." If this was said by a young child, it would likely mean that they have an upset stomach. Tummy is a cutesy, childish word for stomach. If this was said by an adult to a child, the meaning probably is more or less the same, but the reason for using the word tummy changes. The child might not know the word stomach, or the adult might think that stomach is a scary word to the child. If an adult said this to another adult, it might come off as childish or silly. Or it could be a euphemism. A euphemism is a polite word that's used in place of another word that might not be polite in context. The meaning could be a lot open too. It could mean anything from needing to use the restroom, indigestion, heartburn, or it could be something that's basically just TMI, too much information. A question like, "What's wrong with you?" adds an H to the 5 W's. How? How something is being said is often just as important as what is being said. Did they say it in a sweet tone, an angry tone, a perplexed tone, a bored tone, a sarcastic tone? All of these ways of saying things change really what is meant and what is understood when people are trying to communicate. How someone says something is not strictly context. It adds nuance. So now it's time to talk about nuance. Nuance is the small details that influence how you think or feel about something. It can be very difficult to define nuance. Not the word, but the details are hard to define because they're so small, so subtle, and it can be very difficult to identify what it was that influenced how you thought or felt about something. That's not always true. Word choice often influences the nuance of the sentence. For example, my mom asked me to walk my sister to school. My mom told me to walk my sister to school. My mom had me walk my sister to school. My mom forced me to walk my sister to school. My mom expected me to walk my sister to school. All of these are reasonable ways to describe the same event. Your mom telling you to walk your sister to school, or some variation of that. The nuance here is in how you feel or think about the request that your mom made. Asked implies that you feel gracious or kind for helping your mom in this way. Told implies that you have been ordered to do something. It might not be a problem, but it's still something that you don't really want to do. Had implies pretty much the same thing as told, except that it is a problem. Forced means that there was some kind of threat. If you don't do A, then B will happen. Expected is the biggest change from the others. It almost certainly means that you either refused or tried to refuse to do whatever it is, in this case, walking your sister to school. And it also means that there was no communication about it beforehand. How it is said, again, can help you to understand what someone is trying to communicate to you, not just understand the words that are being said. All right, with that out of the way, let's start with join. Join is a pretty simple word. It means to take multiple things, 2 or more, and put them together in some way so that it becomes one unit, a single thing. Generally, something has to happen that joins them together. But after that, they stay together as one unit until some other event comes along and breaks them apart. Things that you can join. Clubs. The process of joining a club is pretty simple. There is a club, you are not in it. You ask the club, or the club asks you to become a member, to join it. If everybody agrees, congratulations, you are now part of the club. Teams, classes, groups, organizations, even jobs all work pretty much the same way as clubs. There may be one or two qualifications that are a little bit different, but basically there is a group, you're asked to join the group, or you are asked to join the group. Games are a little more tricky. If you see people playing basketball and you go and start to play basketball in the game that is already happening, you have joined the game. But if there is no basketball game and you and someone else start a basketball game, that is not joining. This is also true for most activities. It has to be happening for you to join it. If you start an activity, that's something different. And what that is going to depend on context. Sometimes there is a plan that you can join, but that plan hasn't happened yet. This is different from starting because the plan has to exist before you can join it, even if the activity is later. It's even a little difficult for me to explain what joining a contest might mean because there are so many parts of a contest that you can join. You can join the contestants for an activity. You could join the audience and not be in the contest anymore or for a short time. You could join one group or another to go to a location. All of these things can happen during a contest, but you still can't join the contest. You could even join the team or group that are running the contest, but that's still not joining the contest. So what is it called when you want to participate in a contest if it's not join? You enter it. You enter a contest. I see this specific usage the most often, but there are many things that work the same way. Long story short, join a club, enter a contest. Next up, we have special. And I have to start by saying that special does not mean good. Special means not normal or not common. There is an English word, abnormal, that means not normal, but it adds a flavor or nuance that means that it is broken or damaged in some way. Special doesn't usually carry that same connotation, so not normal is probably a better way of explaining it. Typically, when special is used to talk about an item, it's a gift or a present of some sort. The idea in that context is that this item is meaningful or important to the person that has it or is getting it. If it is used for other things like flavors, colors, prices, or bargains, the meaning that it implies can change greatly depending on the context that it's used in. If you use special to talk about a person, it can get very complicated very quickly. If you said she is special, that might mean the same thing as she is special to me. It could mean that she is special to everybody. But if you remember a little while ago, we talked about a euphemism where you say a polite word, a nice word, in place of a word that might not be nice or polite. Sometimes when you say someone is special, it means that they have a handicap. They have a physical disability, mental disability, or both. We also will sometimes euphemistically use special when we want to be nice when the answer is not. So you're going to have to be careful about how to use special. You don't want to accidentally insult your friend when they got a new hairstyle and you say, "Oh, your hairstyle looks so special," because that could mean that it's really terrible and that you're just trying to be nice to them. That's all we have for this episode. But if you have any questions about words or phrases that your dictionary is telling you should mean one thing, but everybody seems to use them different than the way the dictionary says maybe they should, please let us know in the comments down below, and we will do our best to answer all of your questions in future episodes. I will see you next time. Bye.